This pandemic has challenged governments across the world, and ministers have been under relentless pressure in dealing with this issue. But just as ministers are making tough decisions, so are Parliament. And Parliament will make better decisions if it is fully and properly informed. I want to comment on the circuit breaker idea, because I looked at the SAGE paper of the 21st of September, and what was absolutely clear was this was not a 2 to 3 week circuit breaker, full stop, end of story. It would have had to be repeated, possibly again and again and again, and I doubt if any economy could have borne the irreparable damage that would have done, with the impact on lives that would have had, which would have been significant. Of course, the government introduced the tiered approach, and I would echo the comments made by my right honourable friend, the member for the Forest of Dean, that one of the issues with the tiered approach is that we haven't had a proper analysis of how that has, the impact that has had. The evidence is, from Liverpool, that cases are falling. I raised this in a briefing the other day and was told that was because fewer students were coming forward to be tested. But when you look at the figures, actually the number of cases is falling across the age ranges. Yes. We need to have that proper assessment of how that tier system is working. But there are other examples of where figures have been used in a way that I think has been unhelpful to Parliament and to the public. Let me take the 4,000 figure. It appears that the decision to go towards this lockdown was partly, mainly, to some extent, based on the prediction of 4,000 deaths a day. Yet if you look at the trajectory shown in that graph that went to 4,000 deaths a day, we would have reached 1,000 deaths a day by the end of October. Now, the average in the last week of October was 259 by my calculation. Each of those deaths is a sadness, and our thoughts are with the families. But it is not 1,000 deaths a day. So the prediction was wrong before it was even used. And this leads to a problem for the government, because for many people it looks as if the figures are chosen to support the policy rather than the policy being based on the figures. So we need these proper analyses. I say that to my right honourable friend. We need to know the details behind these models. We need to be able to assess the validity of those models. But there's one set of data that has not been available throughout, and that is a lack of data about the costs of the decisions that are being taken. Costs for non-COVID treatment in NHS, non-COVID deaths, domestic abuse, mental health, possibly more suicides, and of course cost to the economy. Jobs lost, livelihoods shattered, businesses failing, whole sectors damaged. What sort of airline industry are we going to have coming out of this? What sort of hospitality sector? How many small independent shops will be left? The government must have made this analysis, they must have made this assessment. Let us see it and make our own judgments. The public and Parliament want to support the government to take the right decisions. To do that, we need to have the right figures, the right data and the proper information.